All right, we are mere hours away from UFC Vegas 80 kicking off, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to rifle through the segments that I normally drop on a weekly basis so that you guys can still figure out where my head is at in regards to most of these spots. So, going from left to right, we'll start off with the top three lock of the night prediction candidates that I have for you guys. Again, if you want to find out which one I'm actually going with, check the link in the description below for the Lock of the Night Patreon page where I have my final plays, predictions, and just in-depth insight within written content and articles available for you guys. So, top three lock of the night candidates. First of which is going to be Alex Morono versus Joaquin Buckley. Fight does not go to decision at minus 210. I'm expecting a lot of pocket exchanges from both of these gentlemen, and I'm expecting one of them to end up falling. I believe it's going to be Buckley who ends up getting his hand raised here, but I think Morono is just as live to find his own knockout, considering that he has very underrated power. But at minus 210, I believe that violence is the way to go for that matchup. Second lock of the night candidate is going to be the Joe Pyfer and Abdul Razak Al Hassan fight to finish under 1.5 rounds. I don't mind the chalky fight doesn't go to decision instead if Pyfer decides to look for a grapple-heavy approach to wear on Al Hassan and then try to put him away later. But I still believe that this matchup will be decided within 7.5 minutes, whether it's Pyfer knocking out Al Hassan early, which I believe is going to be the result, or Al Hassan uncorking his early power like he normally does and gets his opponent out of there. I'm not that comfortable with the heavy chalk on Pyfer, but I'm expecting violence regardless. So give me the under 1.5 at minus 200. And then the final one, probably the most chalky lock of the night candidate prediction I've given out in a long time. But Grant Dawson is on pretty much right there in terms of breaking into title contention. And with this being his first main event slot against Bobby Green, the UFC has surely given him a solid stylistic clash here where he can go out there and do what he does best. Relentless takedown attempts, good control from on top, and really just wearing Bobby Green around for about 25 minutes. And I think he wins this fight by decision. Some people think he gets it done inside the distance. I think Green is resilient enough to see the final bell here, but I'm still going to take Dawson minus 420 as my final lock of the night prediction. Again, if you want to figure out which of those three that I actually went with for my official lock of the night prediction, check the Patreon page that is linked in the description below. Moving on to the top three dog of the night candidates, and just as the lock of the night candidates, if you want to find out which one I actually ended up going with as my official dog of the night prediction, check the link in the description below. All right. First of which, we got JJ Aldrich at plus 125. She's taking this fight on short notice against Montana De La Rosa, a former training partner of hers, which leads me to believe that Aldrich realized that, hey, I'm being given an opportunity to fight somebody that I've sparred plenty of times in the training room, and I'm more than likely having success against her. So why not take this free paycheck and hopefully try to go out there and get another dub? So at plus 125, I'm expecting the striking heavy approach from Aldrich to outdo the grappling attempts of De La Rosa, and then allowing Aldrich to put together good combinations, good damage, making it look good enough for the judges for her to get her hand raised by decision. Next up, we got another women's bout where I got Diana Belbita at plus 125. She has had a significant experience disadvantage here against Karolina Kowalkiewicz, but Kowalkiewicz is getting up there in age, and even though she might be in her best form as of late, considering the 3-fight winning streak that she's on, it's all about stylistic clashes. And although Karolina might be looking for a grapple-heavy approach here, I don't think she'll be successful in doing that against Belbita, which will likely keep this as a 50-50 kickboxing matchup, where I think that the optics of Belbita moving forward and throwing her volume, even if she's not landing, will be superior to the cleaner, crisper shots that Karolina will be attempting to throw. So look for Belbita to out-volume Kowalkiewicz en route to a decision victory, which is why I have her as my second dog of the night candidate. The third and final dog of the night candidate I have for you guys is Philippe Lins, coming in at plus 115. He's going up against Iwan Cutelaba, and Cutelaba's win condition normally is that early stoppage. However, Lins has moved over to the light heavyweight division very successfully, as he is now 3-0 over his last few appearances. I expect him to stifle Cutelaba up against the cage, utilizing that size and strength that he had at heavyweight to shut down the power game of Cutelaba, and that should allow him to put Cutelaba through the grind or even find his own knockout once he starts to let go with his powerful combination striking. But at plus 115, I'm kind of surprised that the public bet him down to an underdog, but I'll be happy to put him in as one of my dog of the night candidate predictions. Again, if you want to find out which of those three that I ended up actually going with as my official dog of the night prediction, check the link in the description below for the MMA LOTN Patreon page. All right. Let's move on over to the free parlay that I got for you guys. First off, we'll start off with the Locky two-step. First step of which is Joaquin Buckley, who I believe will be the more powerful, faster, and explosive fighter against Alex Morono, who is more than willing to exchange in the pocket, which is never really a good idea, as we saw when he dropped that loss to Santiago Ponzinibbio, also when he got knocked out by Chaos Williams a couple years back. But Buckley still has that knockout power at his hands, at his disposal, and I fully believe that he'll be able to catch Morono within 15 minutes and knock him out. Minus 185, minus 175, don't mind him straight up on the money line, but I think he's a solid first step in the Locky two-step. And how could I not go with Grant Dawson in the second step of the Locky two-step, considering I believe he has a path of least resistance. Even though he's going up against a very experienced opponent in Bobby Green, I feel like his grappling is very high level and elite and is worthy of being in title contention, and I fully expect him to go out there and control the majority of this matchup against Bobby Green, getting his hand raised with relative ease. The Locky two-step, when put together, it comes through as a minus 108 payout. Hopefully you guys are able to get a number close to that, as that's what I got early on Thursday when I originally put this together. And if you want to complete the Locky trinity, go ahead and toss in Kanako Murata, who's returning from a 2-year-long layoff, but luckily for her, she has a great stylistic matchup across from her in Vanessa Demopoulos. Demopoulos is a BJJ black belt who doesn't mind eating up time off of her back, trying to pull off a submission, but Murata has a very solid wrestling top-heavy game, and I fully believe that she'll have learned her lessons from the Verna Jandiroba fight, which obviously put her out for 2 years due to an arm injury, but I think that Murata will do a great job in terms of shutting down Vanessa Demopoulos' game, grinding her out from that top position, and winning this fight by decision. And I believe if you are still able to get this number, if you throw in Kanako Murata to the Locky two-step to complete the Locky trinity, you can get plus 147. All right, finally, let's move on to the three best prop bets that I got. First of which is going to be Diana Belbitsa by decision at plus 165. I think she has a great opportunity to go out there and out volume and optically make it look good in her favor against the veteran Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Look for Belbita to stifle the takedown attempts of Kowalkiewicz, rendering this fight to pretty much be a kickboxing matchup where she should be able to go out there and make it look good enough for the judges for her hand to get raised by decision. Well, plus 165, sign me up. Second prop that I got for you guys is a round prop here, and I'm hoping that it comes through for Bill Algeo round 2, round 3 at plus 650 and plus 700 respectively. Kind of cheating here with going with two props, but I feel pretty good about one of these spots. I think one of these will come through with Alexander Hernandez cutting back down to 145 pounds and his notorious cardio issues. And we know that Bill Algeo has an endless gas tank. He should be able to go out there and really make Alexander Hernandez work within the first 2 rounds and then reaping the fruits of his labor in the second and third rounds, hopefully finding a submission. Hernandez has some good tools, and he's a solid, pretty much probably a better technical fighter than Bill Algeo, but I believe that it's fights where Hernandez can dictate the pace and dictate the range of the fight. That's where he's going to be successful. Bill Algeo will more than likely not allow him to do that, always staying active in no matter what position that they are in the cage. So round 2 and round 3 at those big numbers, I'm going to have to take a sprinkle. And then the final prop bet that I got here for you guys is going to be Joaquin Buckley to win by knockout at plus 100. Just over the line there at that plus money. But I believe that Buckley and Morono will be throwing down and there will be plenty of pocket exchanges. And even though I like the minus 210 on the fight doesn't go to decision in case Morono does end up landing the bomb, you're still getting plus 100 on Buckley, who has more power, is more explosive, and is the faster of two. So rather than paying that minus 185, I think that taking that prop by KO is probably the better way to go here. So I'm going to take Buckley as the final prop bet that I got for you guys here at plus 100. Appreciate all the love, and I appreciate all the support. We are back next week for the final episode of the Contender Series, as well as the next UFC card as well, and everything should be back on track for that. Monday, a release for the Contender Series, Tuesday release for the UFC card, and then all these segments dropping on their individual days as they normally do. Also, don't forget Bellator tonight as well, so if you want to get breakdowns for that, you can find that on the YouTube page. I dropped it earlier this morning, so keep your eyes peeled for that and check it out. Otherwise, good luck on all your action this weekend, folks, and I'll see you guys again on Monday. Peace.